guys. So today I'm going to have Sam Taggart, giant in our space. Super stoked to hear from you. It's going to be a short episode this time. We're going to do an extended version later, but tune in, listen to the guy. Has massive impact on the industry, and yeah, excited to talk to him today. Thanks for doing this, dude. Because I know it's we've been playing back and forth for a little bit.
You're good, man. Sorry, I've been traveling and my schedule's tough, so I'm glad we could nail down some time to make it happen. Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Well, yeah, dude. So we just started, obviously, as you know, the podcast. Trying to get the bright minds on it and kind of pick your brain a little bit. Obviously, you've done very well for yourself as far as like building the career out of sales and got your hands on a lot of different things right now too. So, what are you up to now? Like, what? So I know you're still doing obviously all door-to-door stuff too, and real estate, and you have podcasts and conferences and everything.
Tech, uh, we're launching our own knocking app and CRM here next month. Our own LMS we're launching next month. We've done a lot. Yeah, so a couple books coming out. Finished two. One gets published in January. I'm trying to figure out when to publish the other one to not compete with each other. So I've been working on a lot of weird little projects. It's been fun.
That's awesome, dude.
So yeah, so basically, I would just want to pick your brain a little bit on the sales. Obviously, a lot of the guys that we get exposed to now are in door-to-door industry or sales in general. And so a lot of the questions, I'll apologize in advance, probably sick of hearing this, but a lot of it will have to do with sales and mindset and that kind of stuff. So, um, so kind of to fire off the whole thing for you, like what do you think as far as the perspective on sales? I know that sometimes we as door knockers sometimes running to people who say get a real job. And obviously, you know a lot of people who build their careers out of this, including yourself. What is like in your nutshell, seeing all the different industry? How would you identify like door-to-door sales as a career?
Well, the real question is how do you identify career? How do you identify job? And like if you looked at like job and career, I almost would say that's what's killing everybody is they're chasing careers and jobs instead of creating freedom and net worth and lifestyle. And so it's like, okay, call it a fake job and call it not a career. But I look at like society tells you go to school, get a job, when in my opinion, it means just above broke job. And it's the W-2 mindset where you're like, cool, I'm going to get 9 to 5. I'm going to make just enough money to live. And I'm going to get 2 weeks paid vacation. And I'm going to keep, and I'm like, oh, cool. Then you have a real job. Congratulations. You're just over broke. And you have a career. I'm going to work my way up a corporate ladder. And I just gave one of my guys a 5% raise today. And he's been here for 3 years. And, he went from 70 to 74. It's like, where it's a career, man. I love him. And he's one of my favorite employees. He's been with me for 3 years, 4 years maybe. And, so I'm like, that is awesome for a lot of people that need that. And so when they make fun of door to door and they are afraid of door to door sales and they say, wow, that's not a real profession. And I go, no, it's a real profession. Maybe it's not your traditional job or career that you're stuck doing or think you should be doing. And door to door sales, in my opinion, is a profession because you become professional at it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it isn't a good career or it isn't a good job, but professions make good money.
Yeah.
Meaning a doctor goes to school, becomes a doctor, becomes a professional, and they had to go to 15 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And then finally they start making money in their professional surgeries and they're doing high level things. Now, the issue is why people give door-to-door sales a bad rap is because people don't look at it as they get signed on, they're not professionals and they're expected to make a ton of money, but they've never put in the 15 years of paid schooling to become professionals at it.
Yeah.
It's like their training started. So imagine you're a professional pilot, you're a professional doctor, you're a professional athlete, professional musician who make meaningful money. because the word professional is associated with them. Nobody's like a professional customer service rep. You know what I mean? Nobody's a professional accountant. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are jobs. Those are careers. A professional lawyer, congratulations.
Yeah.
Those are jobs, careers. So professionals have an interesting title where I'm a professional sales rep, meaning I put 10,000 hour rolls in, thousands of dollars of training, and I make professional like money, which is in the multiple six figures.
Yeah.
So the reality is I love W-2s working for me. You know what I mean? Like they're like I need them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have to have them. I mean, that's the bottom line, right? So there are some people who see stability in saving, like a safety in steadiness, like hourly gratitude, as far as hourly pay.
They lack the confidence in themselves to contribute. They
Yeah.
lack the confidence in themselves to put their own ass on the line.
Yeah.
Like that's the facts. Like
Yeah.
because I look at it like contribution. Why does anybody employ somebody as they think I'm going to get 2 to 3 times revenue of whatever the employee cost me?
Yeah.
They have to have confidence to say I'm going to give you 70 grand, 150 grand, or whatever to get 2 to 3 times return on your body sitting in my seat.
Right.
I'm a creator. I'm a thinker. I'm an entrepreneur. I have to go put the puzzle pieces together. That's why I'm paid hella money or not hella money.
Yeah.
So the people that make the most amount of money in this world are the entrepreneurs and the salespeople, the ones that are creating and contributing, and they're the ones saying, "I'm the point of sale. I'm the point of movement," and they have the highest job security as long as they're professionals at it.
Yeah, well, personally, obviously, like I've only done commission since I got here from Ukraine. Like I got into it, and then, dude, I can't pull away because the idea of like self-worth depending on the hours I have to dedicate to something, it's it's crazy. But so quick question to kind of change it a little bit. So obviously Sam went through transitions. You were like a full hawk guy, you had a normal door-to-door guy, you had a long hair guy, Sam, and now you're back to long hair Sam. So what does that have to do with it? Just from first, because I remember you were sending like everybody like, hey, should I go back to long hair Sam or not? And then there you are again.
So yeah, Door2Door Con 1, for those that don't know what that is, it's the industry's event. We had 3,000 plus people there last year.
Yeah.
This is that we're going on our 8th year. So January 2018, I actually had long hair Sam. And my dad looks at me and he says, "Would you tell every door-to-door rep to also have long hair? You kind of are the face, aren't you?" And I was like, I kind of am. I didn't like pick this, but yeah, like I influence a lot of people in this space. And he said, "What would you tell if you had a team of 20 reps? Would you tell them all to grow their hair out and sell door to door?" Touche. So I cut it. I was like, for you guys, but for me, I have so much confidence and skill level that the minor adjustment of long hair and short hair is so minor for me.
Yeah.
But for the average sales rep, it is a major adjustment.
Yeah.
They need appearance because their words and their body language and their tone is still struggling. Appearance is going to play a part. So look the part, dress the part, smell the part, and that'll be a major difference between who's this dude on my porch?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I had to be an example for the space. And now I grew it out again. I've never told anybody this. I don't even know if I want to share this. I will.
Go for it.
I grew it out again, not because of looks, not because it's because I wanted to intentionally remove myself a little bit more and more from being the face and being like, hey, I don't want to be the face. I want Do2Do experts to be the face and start promoting my experts. No, take Jordan, take Chase, take JP, because now I have a team of consultants. We have tons of other trainers. And if I keep stealing the show, then this isn't a real enterprise. It is just the Sam show. And I've proven to myself that I've done that. And now I want to prove to myself, like, if I I'm going no social media. And if I were to remove myself from social media, can it still scale and grow and have a real business?
Oh, interesting, dude. I'm excited to see how that. The reason I'm asking too because I figured it had something to do with it. The reason why because about my second, third year in solar, I met the guy in Oceanside, and he had this freaking nice, girthy beard, right? And I was like, dude, that looks so sick. And so we went out to Hawaii. It was like 3 week vacation. I got back, I had like putsch. I was like, dude, I'll just let it go. So I got to go and start shaping it, and freaking my wife's like, it kind of red a little bit. I don't know where that came from. So she's like, you should dye it a little bit. So I dyed it jet black. Dude, people were so mean to me on the door because I'm naturally very like straightforward, but having this beard, like you don't see face expression and smile like you're talking about. And right after, I was like, I gotta get it. It has to go. So for me, like now, it has like, I will never have it for at least for the sales perspective.
I'm telling you, like, how much is it worth getting tattoos if you know it might cost you tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands in commissions, or how much is it worth to have the ego and be like, I'm gonna have gauges just
Yeah.
cause, and then you go out and sell and you got these big old gauges and you're like, that's could be costing you thousands of dollars. Like, and I had to come to the decision of like, I want it to cost me tens of thousands right now because I need to go through my own death of like my image and give the image away.
Wow.
Yeah, because the thing is that this job has to do with a lot of first impression, right? Because yeah, and then obviously you can reinstate or reinforce what you've projected to be throughout the conversation as you have.
I've even noticed it because I coach. I mean, yesterday I signed a $118,000 consulting deal, but he's worked with me since 2019. Like, so he's seen the results, right? But like the reality is some random business owner comes and looks at me and they're like, who's this hippie dude gonna like help me with? And I'm like, dude, I've consulted 350 companies. If you looked at my track record, you look at my net worth, you look at like the value I could bring to you. And Sasha's been to our events and been part of these things. But like they wouldn't know. They'd be like, "Who's the hippie dude?" Like with the long hair, right? The first impression, they are going to neglect me out, sadly.
Not, I don't know, dude. I mean, it had.
Some people would. The old school dude looking at young,
I,
long haired Sam might be like, what does he know about business?
yeah.
Right? So there's this element of judgment, sadly, and the same thing's going to happen when you get your door knocked. I want them to look me up. I want to have like this, let me surprise you.
Yeah.
I mean, you have those guys like they see the bow tie guy, right? The roofer, and then you have the funny guy wearing the hat or the beanie all the time. So I mean, there has to, that's some of them have to be memorable. So I think like you rocking a beanie all winter because you're snowboarding and that kind of stuff. Like I think it resonates with who you are. So you apply the fact that you stick to who you are, not try to blend in with the rest of them. So for me, I think it's cool. But for obviously you've run through a lot of companies, different industries. What do you think breaks guys' potential when it comes to getting to this job and staying in? Because a lot of times guys get in a couple of years, they try to do half-ass job, and they usually like convince themselves to do something else or to work for different companies. Not a lot of them stick with it.
So I interviewed a professional basketball player this morning on my podcast, and it's funny. I didn't hit record, so make sure you're recording. So I'm 15, 20 minutes in. I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, oh shoot, we got to restart. So this part won't even be in the podcast. So I'm going to regurgitate it though, because you wouldn't hear it. But what was interesting, so he played pro ball. He's written 35 books. Super successful dude post his career. And he said something that was, and I asked him a question because I think that, door-to-door sales career might be like a professional athlete. Okay? So let's say I got one when I was 18, let's say, and it's like, how long do you want to knock doors, right? And the guy that recruited me texted me yesterday. He's been in it for 16 years and asked for a $1,500 loan, and he's still knocking selling, right? And I'm like, Dude, I watched you make hundreds of thousands of dollars. He assistant managed with me, made 300 plus every year. And I'm like, you just asked for 1,500 bucks and you're still a door-to-door guy.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that it's bad. He's 50 years old now, but like, I don't know if that's what I wanted, but Tom Brady wanted 26 seasons, you know what I mean? Or whatever he did.
Yeah.
And so some people like have 26 seasons in them. Some of them might get cut after 4. And so I asked this professional athlete, I said, look, at what point did you, hey, this season and there's a time and your age and your body's not able to do it anymore. The younger class is starting to look way better than you are. Think of LeBron James right now. You know what I mean? It's like, at what point is he like, I had my season, but LeBron's a different story, but most of the dudes, you don't know their name as a professional athlete. They're not going to go on with endorsements and speaking gigs and, you know what I mean? Like, they're just going to be done. Like, you don't see most professional athletes 5 years after they retire.
Yeah.
And the life is still there. And so what's interesting is he said this, and this is what hit me. He said, it wasn't till I said, how much longer can I do 2 to 3 workouts a day? That was my last year I played. Never until that year had I asked myself, am I able to sustain consistently what it's required in training and structure that I know it takes to be a professional? In the moment I let that thought into my mind, that was the last year I played.
Interesting.
And I thought that was really interesting. And I think too many people in door-to-door sales, they quit before they start. You know what I mean? Like, they quit when they say, yeah, I'm going to do it just for the summer and then go get another job. And I'm like, you already lost.
Yeah.
You already lost. Or, I'm going to do this in transition for maybe I'll try it out. You already lost. You've already given up on yourself, telling yourself you're not going to be great. And you already given up on yourself and you already gave a deadline and you've already lost. And I think too many people in this industry are trying to find ways to get out and not trying to find ways to get in, and they have low commitment.
Yeah.
And I think that somebody that's struggling to stay a top performer, professional, is struggling to figure out their value and their real self-concern of do I take honor of what I do? And also, can I follow a structure? Because I look at the best of the best. Steph Curry probably still hates shooting. Does he? Does he hate shooting free throws in practice? Because I asked him.
Yeah, I think at some point does so. Like from my perspective, an example, I only know doors. Like for me, doors is like unlimited source of income, because if I need it, I can pull it over. And that's the beautiful thing about this job. In any neighborhood, any state, you can generate income, right? So like for me, it's like a ritual. So if you need money, you go to doors. So it's kind of like just the resources doors provide a lot of times is overlooked by the work that people think they have to put in and hours is going to take to generate the income. Like an example, yesterday I left my house at 8:30 and I didn't come home until 11:30 at night. And I was texting this to my guys yesterday, right? I'm like, guys, this is Thursday night. I have 3 kids at home, stay-at-home mom that's beat by those kids by the time I come home. But yet we have the mutual agreement that sacrifices not just on my side, but on both sides, because they intend to do something special. And it's like,
and is that a sustainable your whole life? No. Is it sustainable every day? No. But it's
right.
like, guess what? Whoever married the professional basketball player, do you think that they see him all day, every day? Like, they practice twice a day. So he said, for every one game, there's 10 practices. And he said, so you think of the amount of time and energy goes into that. And he's like, think of the sacrifice they had to make. But that was the season of 9 years for him. Now he's sitting pretty. You know what I mean? And you might say to yourself, the season of harvest, I'm young, I'm hungry, I don't want to put a name on there. And right now, somebody said, Sam, you're 34 years old. I have millions of dollars in the bank. And said, Sam, go knock like you did when you were 22. I would have been like, it's just, I'm not going to be the same player that I used to be. Skill-wise, I'd kill it. Mm-hmm. But my need and drive and ego of I have to be the top rep. I get asked all the time, come knock against me. I bet I could beat you. I'm like, You're still looking for validation. I beat me. Okay, cool. Then what? Like, it's like, what do you want? A gold star? Like, I'm done chasing gold stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where I think people, they need that season of building confidence though in their life because I needed that. I needed to know I could be number one. I could sit there with a trophy. I could have X, right? Like I needed to know I could write a book. I needed to know I could those are wins that you just stack in your life.
Yeah.
And it builds confidence.
So you,
And you have to go
yeah, you're talking about like how you start, right? Because a lot of times people start with the mentality, I'm gonna do this for X amount of time, I'm gonna exit, I'm gonna do this. Like, did you have that mentality for you when you started? As far as like, okay, I'm gonna give it all I got for whatever the season is. This is what I intend to do long term, and then your vision probably is changing still because that's kind of nature of human. But
Yeah, so my first year I went out and I did it before my mission for like 2.5 months. And then I went on a mission, came home like shortly, like I'm talking within less than a month, I was out again from when I got home. Knowing I'm like telling my mission buddies, I'm like, hey, when I get home, I'm just gonna go sell because I was pretty good at it. I need to make some money. It's only 3, 4 months, like why not? I get home from that and I quit. I was done. Like I just thought it was like a one summer. I know how to do it. It'll be fun. Moved to Austin. Told the owners, hey, I'm never doing this again. I gave Texas the bird as I drove home, and I was like, I'm done. It wasn't until maybe 3, 4 months, 5 months go by, and they look at me and they're like, we want to make you a manager. And I was like, I don't know if you heard me right. I quit. And they mapped out a 5-year plan, and they were like, let me show you what it would look like if, with your skill level and talent. I finished the eighth in the company at Platinum, 164 accounts. And it was good. Um, they're like, let me show you anybody at your age that has done this well, what 5 years could look like. And they mapped out how to make $500,000. And I was like, oh shit. All right, I'm in. And they ended up going bankrupt. So I ended up finding Vivint. And this like a month later, but I was like, I'm in. And I started recruiting all my buddies, right? And,
Because you already
and then,
had 5 year plan now. Yeah.
yeah, I had this 5-year vision. I'm like, okay, different logo, cool, same thing, right? Took my buddies from red shirts to orange shirts, and in that month, and said, I will do this for 5 years. I give it 5 years, and that's what I did. And like everybody was like, why are you leaving? And I was like, because I told myself I'd do it for 5 years, and I didn't even look up. And once that last year, I was like, hey, this is my 5th year and I get to reassess. But until then, I was like, I'm finished the best. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to balls to the walls. And then I moved into a different industry. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I was moving to industries because I wanted to stay in Utah. I didn't want to ship out every summer.
mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, well, why don't you go to North Carolina or Georgia or New Jersey or California and sell solar and da da da? And I was like, I want to be in Utah. I didn't want to do the whole moving around thing. And so I stayed in Utah and sold solar here. And then the utilities shifted and I didn't want to move. And everybody moved because the utility shifted. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I'm doing this. So,
Yeah, yeah, dude. The main thing is a lot of times, and I run into, especially now, over last week, I had like 7 guys in the streets within the last couple of days. And when I talk to them, like, how long you plan to do this? When did you get into it? Why did you get into it? A lot of them like very short-minded. I'm just gonna try it. My friend told me. My friends showed me the paycheck one time. I think I can do it too. But like, none of them look at it as like any vision at all of what this could do for them. So I'm like, dude, it's so easy to fail because there's so many kids that get into it that have zero understanding how much really you can build lifelong good freaking success.
I think what's interesting is that summer I got home from my mission. I made 80 grand. So then I put a 5-year plan, take it serious. Say, I'm going to do this because I was only thinking doing it one summer, stack as much money as I can for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, as much money as I could. I gave it everything and I was good. I made 80 grand. That's great for a 21-year-old kid. You know what I mean? And then I commit to 5 years and that 80 turned into 270 or no, it was 360. Then the next year was like 500. You know what I mean? Like it went from 80 to 360. So to just see a shift and making, what is that, 4 times your revenue by just making a decision to commit to 5 years, where else are you going to 4 times? And if you're having a slow first year, realize second, third, fourth years, you could 4 times your income. So why quit after 1 year after you try to figure it out?
How much do you think it has to do with the fact that you had a plan now? It wasn't more like I'm gonna give this one summer, stack up the cash, go to school so I don't have to take loans. Because that's how I got into it too. First time I was super broke. I had $300 that I saved on a mission. $80 that I went to go from Washington to Utah because I had no car. I just paid the guy. I heard him giving the farewell speech. I'm going to college. I'm like, dude, where are you going? Salt Lake? I'll pay for your gas. Take me. I got to get out of this town. And so I had like freaking 220 left. So when I moved, I was parking cars, and then somebody told me money I can make in the pest control industry for the summer. I'm like, I'm in. If they gave me sign-on bonus to get to North Carolina, I'm in. So I didn't think of long term, but then after doing it 1 year, I was like, dude, I can do this till at least until I'm done with college. But for you, like, how much do you think it had to do with like your 400x essentially at that time, your percent wise on your income had to do with the fact that you had a plan mapped out?
Everything. It's everything. I made a decision to do this. And I think the difference between somebody that's good and great is they make a decision to do it.
Mm.
And it's like you can exist, and that's the problem is those that have jobs and careers, they exist in the job and in the career. Versus in this, you actually make the job, you make the career, you make the money. And like by showing up to meetings and to showing up to neighborhoods doesn't get you paid. Success equals deals in this job. That's it. Like success is nothing other than did you write a ticket today? Did you sell a deal? And I did this virtual event today, and I did it yesterday and the day before, and I took sales numbers, and these guys are in different industries. We had like 80, 90 people on the call or whatever, and different industries, different companies, different positions, whatever. And I said, how many you get yesterday? And I said, put it in the chat. And if you're listening to this, I'd ask you the same thing. How much you get yesterday? And the first instinct, a lot of the people were like, well, 1 failed credit. And that's how many failed credits you got. That's not a deal.
Yeah, yeah.
You got 0. Let's be real. I didn't ask you how many credits you failed. What if I failed 6? Do you want me to be like 6 failed credits? Well, it took me 6 to get 1. Okay. I was knocking the hood. I'm going to run credit faster.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? Celebrate the failed credit? No, I celebrate success. Your bank account needed like success is when you sell a deal in this job. That's a ring the bell.
Yeah.
Not like I tried hard.
Yeah.
Not like I'm here. I was out knocking.
Well, I had this conversation. It's funny they brought it up because I had a conversation. I built up the team again, right? So I had a situation where I lost like 30 guys last February. I was figuring out if I want to do this again, going through the whole shenanigans of freaking sales reps and all that stuff. So, anyways, now I have a bunch of new guys, like 2 months into it, and one of them, he's like, I'm kind of frustrated because I have like 5 appointments recently they did not sign yet. I'm like, I'm not sure if you missed the scope of work. It has nothing to do with just showing up to the appointment and it's guaranteed signed. Your scope of work involves talking and following up and resetting and re-explaining and all these different things. And sometimes people, I think, also have misunderstandings of what this job requires and sacrifices in time that you have to put in, not to mention all the development along the way with it too. So for you guys, obviously you focus a lot on developing these reps. How much do you think it has to do with proper setting for the rep? Either that's starting in the right company or starting with the right program where they can stay in as far as being positive and reinforcing their career long now or profession in sales.
Well, there's like a personal program and then there's like a company program, right? So like, your company is going to structure training, culture, meetings, systems, tech, all that, right? You're going to structure a personal program that's your daily habits in the morning, your nightly wind downs, your hourly tracking, your goal setting, your accountability, all that, right? And I think too many people are so codependent on a company's program, which I was. I realized when I left Vivint, the mothership, and I started my own thing, and I was like, from ground zero, there was no program, and I was like, oh shit, this is way harder without a good program.
Yeah.
And I realized I was kind of dependent on a little bit of it. Just the dopamine hit from their awards and their prizes and the accolades made a difference for me. I like ego. I have an ego. And I realized that if I didn't come up with my own personal program and start checking in personally, I'd never really be great. And I had to start building my own, not dependent program. And that's where I found myself. Like I had to go through dark times to just like, wow, what really does get me out of work? Is it just beating the competition, and or is it just like because I'm excited to go help somebody today? Um, and I had to go through some reforming, as you make a transition. So my whole thing is like, it's not the company's job to sell for you. Let's just put it that way. Like it's your job to sell for you. So if you keep making excuses of, well, if they would have trained me better, or if they would have XYZ, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like you have so many resources, whether you get our stuff, DDDU, or you come to our events, or you watch the YouTube videos and Instagrams, or listen to these podcasts, like whatever the thing is, I'm not holding your hand. Nobody else is holding your hand. If you don't sell, it doesn't affect my life. It only affects yours.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing is like that I love about this too, because it has so much to do with the personal drive. Recently I've merged with Spartan. I don't know if you heard about this whole thing, right? So with Spartan, like when the reason why I jumped on it, because like, dude, what they have systems wise for the reps, it will take me years to develop on my own. And sometimes like the ego part of it is like, nah, screw it, I can do it by myself. And dude, I've lost so much trying to do this, where I was like, dude, maybe I just need to do that just for the reps' sake, so I can progress personally also. And so at least for me, like, yeah. So I think some reps too, like, they come in where they expect the red carpet. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for showing up. Here's everything you need. We're gonna invest into you. We want to make sure you're successful in this job. But a lot of them not leaning their success on themselves. So I know we're short on time here because we have a quick one. What would you suggest, like as a last advice for anybody looking into building a lifelong profession in solar industry, or not solar, just in general? What's something that's like you would say like the unique thing that somebody must implement today, if they're not locked in or whatever, to make sure that they have those seasons as efficient as possible?
I just recommend that they become a professional. Like, don't be an amateur at this. And it takes training and uncomfortable and hardness and mental toughness. And you don't get mental toughness. Like, people are like, how are you so good on the doors? Or how come that doesn't phase you? Or how do you just keep going all day? Because I've been in the scenario so many times. It's like when I get rejected, I don't feel anything. I'm like, okay, I move on. And they could be cussing me out. They could be XYZ. But it's like, so many people are weak sauce because they just never have had actual real mental toughness built. And so many people are weakness because they haven't practiced overcoming these little things. And so many people don't train. And so many people, like, they're just weak because they don't see this as like, no, I'm becoming mentally tough professional. And if I'm doing something professionally, it's not easy. I'm going to be way better than my competition because I'm taking it serious.
Yeah.
And I watch too many people thinking by scrolling through Instagram or by listening to this podcast, consuming makes them better. Like, no, practice, training, continual improvement, like commitment. Like, there's so many other things that make you way better than just listening to a podcast. Makes us good. Like, maybe we're the ones sharing, you're the one consumed, but it doesn't make you apply any of the shit. It doesn't make you actually go practice it.
Yeah.
You just like got some information, which is cool and start. It's a start, but it doesn't necessarily lead to more sales unless you do something with it.
Yeah. Sorry, Sam. And one more. Sorry, I was just thinking like how important it is for people to fail fast. So the reason why, because like with positive positive outlook podcasts, like I failed in life a lot, but because of that, it created contrast for things when I get things that are good. Like it's so clear for me to recognize that real quick because I failed a lot. Like how from your perspective, how important it is for people to either fail fast or like to create the contrast. What's the best thing they can do for themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. Like you don't grow without breaking. So like if I never like it's funny, I was watching a Shaun White video and it was showing how many times he fell on one trick he was trying to do. But we just see the Instagram video in slow motion of like the one he lands. And you're like, oh, I didn't see how many like that hurt. Like you look at how many times that hurt, like, and he somehow got back up on that and did it again, and you're like, hell no. You know how many times people would like you fall off a 40-foot jump or something like that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Yet you're like, all right, here we go again, and you send the same trick that you're like, I'm gonna
They'll go
beef
for it.
it
Yeah.
12 times. But if you never sent it again, you would never be able to learn the trick.
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody learns a new trick, lands it their first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because Nigel Houston, I love skating. Like I love watching him too, and he showed all the bloopers of him doing a trick too. And dude, this guy head on, like ribs, freaking feet on the head on the asphalt. I'm like, this is crazy. He's bleeding. Next time you see him, like the whole wrist is wrapped while he's trying to do the trick. I'm like, this is like, the commitment level is crazy to get something done, knowing that you can or you want to, right? So I think sometimes, yeah, like you said, people are like afraid of like a tear shed or freaking have some sort of bleeding involved in the process of improvement. Anyways, dude, we have to probably do this one more time. I want to get into a little bit more. You have a lot of changes going on. It's super exciting to watch. You and D, you guys merged something massive, power couple there. And I love what's going on with you guys right now. So
Thank you. Well, I
Keep on.
appreciate it. You're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm here to serve any way I can. Hope to see everybody at Door2Door Con in January and keep on killing. See some more people up on that main stage with golden doors.
100%, dude. I'm gunning for it because with Spartan, I have 6 months to generate. I want to get a 1.2 meg in 6 months. It's like about 200 kilowatts every month.
Let's make it happen. Let's
So
make it happen. Okay.
I'll see you
talk
then.
soon.
I'll
Be in
see-
post.
Thanks, bro.
See you, man.